Evie Lavelle, owner and curator of the Little Hollow Living History Museum. Love and modern art. I honestly don't fully understand either of them, but I appreciate them. And sometimes a healthy dose of curiosity and the courage to appreciate something you've never seen before is exactly what it takes to make the world a better place. Over the past year, Dana Dooley has been making these little internet radio documentaries about the lost love stories of the Tennessee Valley. They're called podcasts. And although I did not fully understand them at first, I chose curiosity and courage, and I listened to all of them. And now I subscribe. Dana generously allowed us to include one of these podcasts in our museum because, drum roll, the story takes place right here in Little Hollow. It's the story of a town, a piece of modern art, and one very special goose who, like me, chose curiosity and courage. I know you'll love it as much as I did. Enjoy.
Welcome to Heart and Hollers with Dana Dooley, untold love stories of the Tennessee Valley. Episode 304, The Bird in Summer. What is love? Do we know it when we see it? Do we have to be in the right place at the right time? Is it physical attraction, companionship, brain chemistry? Mrs. B. Lavelle, 68 years young, thinks she might have the answer.
My husband and I have been together 49 years, and I love him because he knows when to leave me alone and knows when not to, if you get my meaning. There's your love.
What about love for family, for friends, your hometown, or even the love of art? John Fletcher Commodore Lark is Little Hollow's very own art patron, a man who dedicated his life and sizable fortune to supporting the arts. He started the Little Hollow Public Outdoor Gallery. Visitors would stroll the grounds, sit on stone benches, and enjoy the open-air gallery. Public art has the power to enrich a community by opening their eyes to something they've never seen before. And that's certainly a way to describe the public gallery's now most famous painting, The Bird in Summer. A dramatic brushstroke of white paint on white canvas. The gesture moves in swoops and bends over a pastoral vista with a burst of vermilion creating the image of what appears to be a goose. Due to its non-traditional nature, the painting is open to interpretation.
It don't look like anything to me. Maybe could be a hockey stick.
The artwork, simple, straightforward, many say ugly, was a local sensation. Visitors flocked to the painting, though many did not agree on its artistic merit. In an interview recorded before his death, Commodore Lark, wealthy founder of the Little Hollow Public Gallery, talks about the painting.
I put the painting smack dab in the center of the gallery. Pièce de résistance. Folks hated it. Come from all around to tell me it looked like something their kids could have done. But to me, there's something about it, something beyond. My wife told me I was crazy. I'm not trying to be ironical. The first time I saw it, I got goosebumps. I love that painting, though maybe not as much as Otto.
If Commodore Lark is Little Hollow's most famous patron of the arts, Otto the Goose is its most famous art lover.
We saw Otto come March. Don't know if he got lost or separated or what have you from his flock, but he landed in Little Hollow and sure as anything waddled right up to our little gallery. And then he got a look at that painting.
Like everyone else in town, Otto was drawn to the bird in summer. Each day, Otto the Goose would stand at the public gallery near the stone benches, along with other gallery visitors, and stare at the painting. Otto was love-struck.
And after a week of just looking at it, that's when he started fighting the other guests.
Otto would not let other visitors near the painting. Mrs. B. Louvel, 68 years young, was the first visitor to be on the receiving end of Otto's avian hostility.
I go up to look at that dumb painting, and he bites me right on my butt. Right on it. I was 10 years old. Only time I ever got bit by a goose, though. Wouldn't go near him after that.
Otto built a small nest near the painting and would honk and flap and charge visitors if they got too close. Attendance at the gallery plummeted. Dr. Stella Avery from the Greater Tennessee Wildlife League explains.
Geese develop very strong bonds, and not just with other geese. A Canadian goose fell in love with a Honda a few years back. But Otto is the only goose I can think of that fell in love with a piece of art. He was a classy goose.
And Otto's unusual love story was about to take an unexpected turn. On a dare, a group of local middle schoolers tried to distract Otto and steal the painting. Otto bravely fought the thieves, defeated them, and retrieved the bird in summer. The story was printed in the local paper.
Those ruffians kicked the whole damn thing off. That's when the carnival started.
The story was picked up by newspapers across the region. It was a sensation. Would-be thieves, ne'er-do-wells, and ordinary citizens looking for excitement made their way to the small town of Little Hollow to try to get the painting away from Otto.
They tried everything. They tried to confuse him. They tried to scare him. One of them even had a bow and a plunger with a rope tied around it, a sort of arrow to yank the painting away from Otto. But he couldn't get the plunger to stick on the painting, and Otto chased him down and bit him on his butt.
Eventually, Commodore Lark took direct action.
I had to put a stop to it. So I hired a team of gentlemen thieves from the Midwest who assured me they could get the painting away from Otto. Frankie Seaway and the Seaway Seven.
The team assembled by Seaway was a who's who of top-level grifters. Mo Grapes, Derek No-Dice Dills, Eggs Murphy, Chip Two-Tone McCone, Franklin DeMond, Delroy DeMond, no relation, and Little Jimmy Biggerstaff.
The whole scheme fell apart when little Jimmy dressed up in a sort of sexy goose costume to distract Otto. Otto saw right through that. Next, I hired a master thief from New York City who built a rig to sort of hang from the ceiling of the gazebo. He was supposed to drop down on ropes and steal the painting from above. But he did the calculations wrong or something because the whole roof fell in. Him with it. After we put the new roof on the gazebo, I decided to try Itzy Moldoni.
Itzy Moldoni was a fraudster, flim-flam man, and world-famous art forger. Commodore Lark hired Moldoni in a final attempt to end the Otto situation. The plan? Moldoni would expertly replicate the bird in summer. But not only create one forgery, Moldoni would paint dozens. Colloquially known as the multifugazzi, or the reverse Monty, instead of having the mark choose the desired card from a face-down set, all the cards are visible and seemingly identical.
We'd scatter the copies of the paintings everywhere, and when Otto couldn't tell the real one from the fake ones, we'd grab the original.
Moldoni and the Commodore executed the daring plan under the cover of night. Identical goose paintings were placed throughout the gallery, on the stone benches, scattered on the walkways. The bird of summer everywhere, over and over again.
Of course, Otto didn't fall for it. He knew exactly which one was the real thing.
By the next morning, Itzy was in the hospital, and doctors were reattaching a severed finger.
Things escalated quickly. Otto went to bite him on the butt, as was his wont, but Itzy put his hands in the way to stop Otto, and that's when his fingers got, well, you know.
Itzy Moldoni, finger sewn back on, returned to Italy that afternoon. The plan had failed, but to everyone's surprise, Moldoni wasn't the only person to fly away from Little Hollow that day. When they returned to the gallery, Otto was gone.
Sometimes a lone goose will return to the flock. We're not always sure why, but we know that geese sometimes use magnetic fields or celestial cues, the position of the sun or the stars, to decide when to travel. So, in a very literal way, Otto was just following his stars.
Well, sir, I was sad to see him go. I didn't like him much, but we all loved him.
Just like that, Otto was gone. The bird in summer went back on display in the little hollow public outdoor gallery, and soon everyone forgot what the fuss was about. And that's where the story of Otto, the goose who loved art, came to its melancholy conclusion. Or did it? After his death, and in accordance with his final wishes, the estate of Commodore Lark released this audio interview.
Do I know where Otto is now? Of course. He's right out there in my backyard with his painting. Otto could tell the real ones from the fakes, but nobody else in town could. The one hanging in the gallery is one of the Muldowney knockoffs. We kept ourselves the real one.
It was a double reverse Monty. The marks were us all along.
Say what you will about taste or what's good or bad or what a thing is supposed to look like. Sometimes you know the real thing when you see it.
At long last, did these interspecies rivals become friends? Perhaps it's not for us to say what's what between a goose and a millionaire. We'll give Commodore Lark the last word.
For me, I was just happy to know someone else saw the same thing I did. But you should probably ask him.
This has been Heart and Hollers with Dana Dooley, untold love stories of the Tennessee Valley. As always, thank you for stopping by.